Good morning, everybody. I hope you are doing well this morning. Today's Wednesday, May 20th. I wanted to share with you, well, you already got my email, which brought you to this video. This is going to be Boxes of Life Part 2. I hope that you all took a look at the video for Part 1 on the 3 boxes of life and completed that activity. The activity involved you looking at a particular picture of somebody doing something or a group of people doing something and trying to determine what box of life it fell into. I have not received any completed assignments yet, which is not the end of the world. It's only Wednesday, but hopefully I will begin to get some of those assignments completed and sent to me. Remember, you just have to circle the box of life that relates to the picture. So if you think the people are working, you would circle work. If you think they're playing, you would circle play. And if you think they're doing something for learning, you would circle learn. It is possible that you could circle multiple boxes for one activity, and in some rare cases you might even be able to make an argument that you could circle all 3, but each one should definitely have at least one circle on it. So that should get you thinking a lot about the 3 boxes of life. Again, remember, work, learn, and play are the 3 boxes. And it's important, we talked about this on Monday, but to have balance, right? We have those 3 boxes because we want to have balance in our lives. We want to do things that involve learning. You know, we always want to learn and improve what we know. So taking part in activities that involve learning are really going to be important. We want to have fun. You know, we want to balance our learning with fun. And so if it's whatever the fun activity is that you choose to do, that's healthy. That's good for your brain. That's good for your body to take a break from the stressful things that you do each day and have some fun. And then, of course, work is a big part of our day each day, and that could look different from person to person, but we obviously want to be working. And you guys are now all young adults, and your work is going to be just that. It's going to hopefully at some point be a paycheck, where you're going to work and you're doing a job, performing a job, and getting paid for it. As you remember, Monday I went over a bunch of different things that you could do in the way of work, things like chores, and I gave you a huge list. I think that's attached into your email from the first lesson on Monday. But use that every once in a while to look at the chores that are on that list. I think I listed about 25 different things that you could do that would be a chore around your house that would fall into the work category. You know, doing yard work and emptying the dishwasher and dusting and taking out the trash are just a few that we talked about the other day. And then leisure. I gave you some leisure activities that you can do. And again, I made a list of things that are not a technology based, right? And I know that's becoming harder and harder in this world that we live in. But there are a lot of different things that you can do that are fun that don't involve electronics. And, you know, doing puzzles, for example. I finished my 4th puzzle just the other day, and I'm really finding a lot of it's a great activity for me to do, to get away from videos and computers and phones and just, you know, use my mind, use my hands, use my eyes to complete a project like a puzzle. It doesn't have to be a jigsaw puzzle. It could be a crossword puzzle or a Sudoku. That's a leisure activity. You might want to just listen to some music or play a board game with a family member is a great way to pass some time and have some fun. Drawing and painting, doing some artwork, things like that can be fun leisure activities. And then, of course, I gave you some exercises to do. And exercises is one of those categories that could be a category on it. Could be its own box, really. Could be a fourth box. But for the purposes of this activity, I think I said let's put the exercise in the work category. Because if you're exercising and you're exercising correctly and well, it will be some work, right? It's walking, it's running, it's swimming, it's lifting weights. It could be any of those. Jumping rope. It's going to require some physical work, some physical activity, and that's sort of the baseline of it. That's the foundation of work for exercise is working hard, is putting your body through some routine that challenges your heart and your lungs and your muscles, and also your brain. There's been studies on how exercise can help with the chemical brain work that's going on, the chemicals in your brain and the levels of the different chemicals, and how exercise can help balance those levels and make us really have a good healthy approach to things. So, and then we talked about learning. Obviously a lot of different things out there that you can do for learning, probably not as many as chores and exercise and leisure, but reading the newspaper can help you to learn. Reading a book from the bookstore is a great learning opportunity. Watching the news on television is a thing that you can do to help you learn. Having conversations with your family. Your families are your parents, your grandparents are all older than you and have a lot of experience in the world, and you can have a great conversation with them to not only work on your learning skills, but those are great social skills opportunities as well. So you can kind of double dip on some of those activities. What else can you do for learning? Obviously, taking a class online right now would be a learning opportunity, but once we get back to real life again, going to a class at a college or at a high school, that's a learning opportunity. So I gave you those all on Monday. Hopefully that helped you with your activity. Today, what I want to do is up the ante a little bit. I'm really going to challenge you today, and I'm going to the email that you received, you should have seen an attachment, and that attachment looks something like this. Okay, and what this is a one-day schedule. As you can see, the times are on this side. The middle column, I believe, has the activity, right? Is that correct? Yeah, the activity. And then the far column is the box of life that it falls into. Okay, and so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pick a day. It could be today, could be tomorrow, could be Friday. I don't really care which day it is, and then write the day on the top of the page. So if it's today, you'd write Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. And then what I'd like you to do, excuse me, is based on the things you do each day, or each hour, I want you to write that activity in the box. So, for example, right now at the top it says from 9 to 10. So I'm basically giving you until 9 o'clock to sleep, right? And let's say you wake up at 9 o'clock, and at 9 o'clock you take a shower, come downstairs, make breakfast, and have your breakfast. So you would put that in the box there, shower and breakfast. And then what would that be here? What kind of box would that be? Well, that would probably be work, right? Taking a shower, taking care of your hygiene, and then putting together a meal and eating it, that's work. And then let's say at 10 o'clock, from 10 to 11, you decide you're going to sit down and watch the news and maybe do some schoolwork. Well, that would be learning, okay? Then maybe from 11 to 12, you decide you're going to go outside and do some exercise. So that would, you go for a walk, and that would be work. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of this. Now, there's a few things I want to explain on this worksheet. One is I started it at 9 in the morning and I ended at 10 at night. I don't know what time you guys are getting up, and I don't know what time you're going to bed. So if the day you pick begins at 11 o'clock in the morning, then you're going to have to adjust these times. You can write the new times on this side next to the times that I put. So if you start at 11 o'clock, then it's going to be 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and so on. Okay? So that's one thing. You might have to adjust the times. Number two, I put them in hour chunks. So from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12 are the chunks. You might not do an activity for a full hour. Don't worry about that. Okay, so from 9 to 10, if you take a shower and eat breakfast and it only takes you till 9:45, don't worry about that. Don't change the times. You can still put shower and lunch or breakfast and then put the box of life that it involves. I'm not looking for you to break down the time to the minute, okay? Just think of it as, what are you doing during that basic hour of time? 9 to 10, 10 to 11. And I use those numbers because those are the round numbers of time, right? Not 9:30 to 10:30 or 10:30 to 11:30, but just 9 to 10, 10 to 11. If you do something for 5 minutes, if you talk on the phone for 5 minutes and then do something else for 5 minutes, and don't get into all the specifics about that. I want to know what you basically did for the majority of that time period. And you can do 2 or 3 different things, right? You might go for a walk, you might take out the trash, and you might make yourself a sandwich. Well, you can put all those things, and what would that all be? It would be work. Now, I guess there could be situations where you do 2 different boxes in 1 hour. So you might wake up and take a shower and have breakfast for a half hour, and then you might play video games for a half hour. So that would be work and fun. So in the box of life category over here, you could put work and fun. Okay? The next thing I want to just explain is at the end, when you get to the bottom, you're going to add up all the hours that you did work, all the hours that you did learning, and all the hours that you did playing. Okay? And then on the bottom it says, do you have balance for your day? And it's either a yes or no. And you'd want to answer that based on what you put in these 3 answers. Okay? For the categories where you split the time, so if you, for 1 hour, you did a little bit of work and a little bit of play, that would be a half hour of each. Okay, you'd have to factor that in as well. So I would say you're probably going to need to print this out, number 1, and number 2, have a separate piece of paper to maybe do some calculations. Again, this is a little more advanced, this is a little complicated, but I really think you guys can do this. And then what is a balanced day, right? So on the bottom it says work, learn, and play, right? The day has 24 hours in it, right? 1 chunk of that time you're sleeping, right? So let's assume you're sleeping, let's say 9 hours of that. So 9 minus 24, let's say, 9 minus 24 would be 15, okay? So 15 hours of awake time. Well, if we break that into 3 groups, that would be 5 hours of learning, 5 hours of fun, and 5 hours of work. That would be a perfectly balanced day. So you might do some chores, and you might do some yard work, and you might do some things around the house that require work, 5 hours of that, maybe some school work, and then maybe you play your video games and listen to music and chat with your friend on your social media. That's another 5 hours of fun. And then maybe you do some learning, right? You maybe do some news watching, and you read a book, and you read a newspaper, and maybe you learn something in the kitchen from your mom and dad, or maybe you do some schoolwork for school. So schoolwork could be a work and learning, and you do 5 hours of that. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Now, a balanced day does not have to be exactly 5, 5, and 5. Okay? If you did 5 hours of work, 6 hours of leisure, and 4 hours of learning, that's a pretty balanced day as well. So I would say as long as you're within 1 hour of the other categories, you're pretty balanced. What you wouldn't want to have is 9 hours of fun, 1 hour of work, and 4 hours of learning. See what I mean there? 9 hours of one category is too much. So you want to have your numbers somewhere in the 4, 5, and 6 range. Okay, you might have 6 of one and 4 of another and 5, or maybe even 7 and 5 and 4. That's a pretty good balance. But anything more than 7 and anything less than 4 in one category is probably imbalanced. So I'm just going to give you that as a guide. So I think I'm done in explaining this. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to connect with me. I want to just give you this. I gave you this as an attachment, just as a guide. I want you to go through your day, write down what you did in each time slot, and then how and what box of life it falls into. And then on the bottom, put that. You're going to count up how many works you had and put that in the work category. And then how many learns you had and put that in the learn category. And then how many plays you had and put that in the play category. And then add up your hours and see if you had a balanced day. All right, please take a picture of this and send it to me. I'd love to see it. Be honest about it, of course. Okay, we're not looking to deceive anybody here or present something that's not accurate. If you did something, write it down. Okay, and again, I wouldn't get into anything more than half hour when you're reporting out on the boxes of life. So if you put work and learn in one box, that's a half hour each. I wouldn't get into 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Half hour is maybe the most. Okay, so good luck with that activity, and I would love to see your work when it's done. And I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow in the Zoom chat. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.